On Triple M, happy Friday to you. It's Rural Focus with Holly, and we're joined this morning by Kellie Todman. She's the Manager of Government and Industry Relations at CBH, and Kellie works closely with growers and industry stakeholders across WA. And Kellie, you're here to talk about the Growers Advisory Council with applications now open for new members. Firstly, how are you going, Kellie?
I am really good this morning. Thanks, Holly, and very happy to be here to talk about the GAC.
Great to hear. Good to talk to you, Kellie. For those who might not be familiar, what is the GAC or the Growers Advisory Council, and what role does it play within CBH?
So, as the name suggests, it's an advisory council, which is made up of CBH members from across the whole state. And they come together and provide feedback to the CBH board and management over the course of their term on the council. So really what the group does is act as a link between growers and the co-op. So there's information and feedback that flows, both ways. And the group's really there to make sure that the grower's perspective is considered when CBH makes decisions.
I guess that's one of the reasons why GAC is so important for WA growers. What kind of influence can members have?
So I think when we think about what's happening at the moment in the world, it's especially timely that growers have a really strong voice in matters that impact them. So the GAC is sort of the mechanism to provide that voice to CBH. As a co-op, CBH's purpose is to ensure that everything that we do is creating value for our members. So having a group like the GAC is really important to capture those views and make sure that when we do make decisions, there's going to be value there. So that's really, I guess, the impact that the group has is, being able to bring views and perspectives from their own networks into the CBH office, and share that with the senior managers who are making these decisions.
Now, Kellie, applications are open right now to join the council. So what does being part of the GAC actually look like, in practice? What can growers expect? And, also, what do they get out of it?
Yeah, so it's really a commitment of 4-year term, and we meet 4 times a year in Perth. It's not a huge time commitment. It's 1 day, 4 times a year. And CBH will, organise the meeting, and the group sits in front of the CBH management, and we do deep dives into different topics each time. So things like, harvest planning or network and capital investment in the supply chain. We talk to marketing and trading about what's happening in the market, what products and services might be, being offered to growers. So it's really a chance for the Growers Advisory Council members to really learn how CBH works and why decisions get made. There's also professional development opportunities that come from being part of the council. There's, training and development opportunities that are involved. And then probably one of the biggest things, and this is feedback I get from GAC members who have, finished up their time, is that you build a really strong network. You are sitting in a room with 16 growers from across the entire state. Everyone has really different farming operations. So the opportunity to connect with those growers and learn from them and share information is really valuable as well. Plus we have a lot of fun. We all get together and have dinner at the end of the meeting. So it's a really great group, and I've only had positive feedback from people who have participated in it.
Yeah, that social aspect is quite often underrated when it comes to things like this. And it sounds like you get a lot out of joining the GAC. If you get involved, you get to have your say, you get to network. So what are the prerequisites here? If we are considering applying, who are you sort of looking for? And another good question is, what would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence?
Yeah, so you don't have to have any special skills or experience for the GAC. Really what we want is, growers who care about the future of CBH and the co-op and want to contribute to its long-term success. You don't need to have a really great understanding about CBH and what it does, but you just need to be curious, and be willing to ask questions and, challenge as well, and, engage in meetings. So if you're on the fence, I'd say, if if you have any interest in the co-op and what CBH is doing, this is probably one of the most constructive ways that you can influence the direction of the organisation and ensure that growers' voices, are front and centre. So we have 5 seats to fill this round of applications. So all the information's up on our website. If you Google CBH Growers Advisory Council, you'll be able to find it. But we're essentially looking for growers from across the state. We can take an application from anyone this time around. So definitely do it would be my advice.
Good advice. So if you Google CBH Growers Advisory Council, you can learn more. Kellie Todman from CBH, Manager of Government and Industry Relations. Thanks for jumping on and telling us about the GAC.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on.
You're on Triple M.